Drugs and your body have a toxic relationship. They change you from the inside out, damaging your organs, twisting your mental health, even leaving you at risk for addiction. And with the wrong ingredient or the wrong combination, drugs can even take your life. A fatal overdose can happen to anyone. There's one on average every 5 minutes. Drugs are just toxic like that. You deserve better. Find a healthier way to unwind at cdc.gov/freemind.
Narcan saves lives. Narcan has saved my own life.
Everyone should be carrying Narcan. It reverses an opioid overdose.
It's easy to get. It's almost at any pharmacy. You don't have to be 18, and you don't need a prescription.
It is saving lives every single day.
It's Not Your Fault is a podcast for parents, caregivers, and young people navigating the world and its challenges. Here's your host, Brandon Jones.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of It Is Not Your Fault, a teen mental health podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Jones, and on today's episode, we're going to revisit an article, but we're not going to do it alone. We have a guest from the CDC. The article is something that we covered a few weeks back here on the podcast where we talked about mental health and substance use. This article dealt with a new campaign that is being launched by the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, and we have one of our experts from the CDC here today to give us a nice, good overview of this campaign and talk about what we can all do to better the management of both mental health and substance use when it comes to young people. And my guest today is Jasmine Kinney. How are you doing today, Jasmine?
I am great. Thanks for having me, Brandon.
Thanks for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, all that good stuff?
Sure. My name is Jasmine Kinney. I am the campaign lead and the health communications specialist here at CDC in the Division of Overdose Prevention. I am from North Carolina, a small town in North Carolina, but I've been in Atlanta quite a while. So I'm happy to be here and talk about the FreeMind campaign today.
Perfect. We're happy to have you. Can you give us a little bit of an overview of the FreeMind campaign and what makes it, different than any other previous mental health efforts from the CDC?
Sure. So the FreeMind campaign was developed to focus on preventing substance use and overdose by addressing the connection between mental health and substance use. As you've probably noted in the previous article, the primary audience for the campaign are youth ages 12 to 17, but also parents and caregivers. At our website, cdc.gov/freemind, we have resources and information and all kinds of tools that youth and parents and caregivers can start the conversation around youth substance use and mental health. In terms of what sets us apart, one of the things would be the focus on both mental health and substance use. We started work on the FreeMind campaign a little over 2 years ago now. And one of the first things we did at the beginning was do an environmental scan to look at what kind of campaigns were out there and what were some of the needs. And what we found were about 26 campaigns that dealt with substance use and or mental health. And only 3 of those dealt with both substance use and mental health together. So that's one of the things that sets the FreeMind campaign apart. In addition to that, we have a very youth-informed design. So one of the things that we did during the development process was do roundtables in 4 different states with both youth and parents to get their feedback on information needs, knowledge around substance use and mental health. And we really use that feedback from teens to kind of guide the development of messaging, ads, branding, tools that were needed, all the things that teens might use and need for to talk about substance use and mental health. In addition to that, one of the things that we got from teens were their needs for some kind of interactive tool to help talk about these subjects. So we have 2 interactive tools coming out, hopefully at the end of August. They're almost complete and ready to go. One of them being a graphic novel that really plays like a video game. It should be very fun for the youth. That it's called What's Up with Tess. It puts them in a situation of a group of friends with a friend who's dealing with a substance use and mental health issue and how to deal with that best to make sure that that friend gets all the support that they need. We also have a card game called Facts and Feels that's really more for the parents to start conversations with their youth around mental health, substance use, and very much just kind of how to ease into that conversation, the best way to do it.
Perfect. Thank you. What is the main message that you want families, educators, youth workers, those folks who work with the young people to take away from this initiative?
I think really one of the main messages that we want families, caregivers, and all those trusted adults who care about teens is that go ahead and start to have conversations early with them and make sure those conversations are open, honest, non-judgmental. Having those types of conversations can make all the difference. We know that a lot of teens these days may be dealing with mental health issues such as stress, anxiety, depression, and may turn to substances to help deal with those. And really, sometimes the use of those substances can develop into substance use disorder. So really starting the conversations early can make a world of difference. So again, for parents, we really want to stress starting those conversations in a non-judgmental manner is very important, and starting them early before an issue arises. As far as youth workers and what they can do, we do offer a toolkit on our website at cdc.gov/freemind. It offers customizable social media posts, video, PSA scripts, and roundtable guides for facilitators. I mentioned earlier that we did a few roundtables in 4 different states with both youth and parents. And one of the things that the roundtable facilitator guides on the website can do for youth workers and others is use these roundtables facilitator guides in your own community to get feedback from youth and parents, because each community could be different. So get the feedback from the parents in your community about their needs, information, what might substances are more prevalent, things of that nature, so that we make sure that they are able to really ground messaging and what's important to them.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Now, we know that the disparities look different in communities of color and marginalized communities, both in substance use and in mental health. How will the Free Your Mind campaign reach these families? Were there any, specific efforts? I know that there was a lot of research that went into this project, but how will this campaign reach out to those communities that are marginalized or underserved?
Yeah, so at the Free Mind campaign, with the Free Mind campaign, we really want to make sure it was accessible and inclusive to everyone, including underserved communities and those communities that are more disproportionately affected. And so, really, at CDC, as I'm sure you're aware, we base all of what we do on data. So, as you said, the Free Mind campaign is very research focused. And one of the things that we did was that look at communities that have higher overdose rates. And in those communities, we made sure that messages were promoted through paid, earned, and community outreach in those areas that might be disproportionately affected. In addition to that, we have a lot of exciting partnerships to help with the dissemination and promotion of the Free Mind campaign. One of which being some schools that we are going to be visiting in the Washington, D.C. area to get out the messaging in disproportionately affected areas. Also, we will be doing some Spanish translations of the website itself and all of our materials and resources.
Perfect. Perfect. Love to hear it. Now, on this podcast, I typically give like 6 tips per podcast. I'm not asking you to do that, but I would ask you if you have any practical tools or supports from this campaign that a parent or caregiver can use if they're feeling overwhelmed or just unsure how to help children. Are there any practical things that people can take away from this campaign?
And thank you for that, because I think well, I know the practical
Yeah.
things that parents can take from this campaign are really based on feedback from them. So as I said, we did roundtables in 4 different states
Mhm.
speaking to parents, and one of the main things that they asked for were practical tools, as you stated. And one of the things that they asked for in your state, Minnesota, were interactive tools to help guide conversations with their children around substance use and mental health. As I mentioned, we have a card game that really is three rounds. One is on substance use, one is on mental health, and one just provides open-ended conversations to start the conversation around substance use and mental health with those teens. So that'll be a valuable resource for parents and other caregivers as they start to have those conversations. Parents ask for facts. One of the main things they want to know, like, okay, we know all this is going on, but what are some of the facts about substance use, mental health, the connection between the two. So if parents visit cdc.gov/freemind/parents, there are facts there. There are some helps with conversation starters. There's a printable fact sheet that dealing with connections between substance use and mental health. And again, our partner toolkit that's on the website that partners can provide these two resources to teens and parents in their communities to support the conversation that parents might want to have with their youth.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing those. Those are extremely helpful. And I love the fact that one of the things is a card game. Sounds like there's some other very interactive and fun things. So it doesn't seem so sterile or clinical. And these are things that you can do that might not seem like they're quote unquote therapeutic, but they can definitely go a long way as far as the engagement with your children. And that's one thing, again, I talk about on the podcast all the time, is try to find ways to connect. You don't have to be a licensed clinical social worker or anything of that nature.
Exactly.
You just have to be somebody who's paying attention, who cares, and who shows up. Those things can go a lot farther than you think. So appreciate that. So my next question for you is, what would you say to a parent or caregiver who is noticing signs of anxiety or depression or even social withdrawal in their child, but they don't know what to do next?
Yeah, and that's a very tough situation for a parent to be in. That I know that might be stressful for them themselves. So if they're noticing those kind of signs of any kind of mental health issues or anxiety, depression, again, that's the time you want to go ahead and start that conversation. Again, a non-judgmental conversation as soon as possible. Lead with empathy so that they can come and talk to you freely. I mean, one of the things that we got feedback from teens in each state was they wanted to talk to their parents, but they felt they might get in trouble. They might be punished. They might be misunderstood. There might be some judgment there. So making sure that parents, when they want to go talk to their child, they're noticing these kind of mental health issues, just letting them know that you're there to talk without judgment and they won't get in trouble. I think that that's something that's very important if you start to look at mental health issues with your child. As I mentioned, that card game can be one of the things that you can help start that conversation with if they're feeling kind of uncertain about starting that conversation. And just remember, for parents, spotting the signs early and starting those conversations early can help prevent problems from escalating.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of parents get nervous because they're like, I'm not a mental health professional. I don't know what to do. But they see, that their young person's going through something and they want to do something about it. So again, what practicality is always helpful, but being able to step in and also not even to step in, but set up an environment where these things can be talked about or engaged with, I think is extremely important. So from this campaign, Free Your Mind, is there any language or approaches that you would recommend that caregivers use to start this mental health conversation? Let's say it's just something that they're like, hey, we haven't thought about this. We haven't covered this in our family. How do they get started? Do they just pull the card game out? Like, what do you think that they should do? How should they start?
Well, pulling the card game out is one of the things that they could do. But I think if it's not the card game, it's just very simple. So, for example, parents can start off by asking, how have you been feeling lately? Is there anything that's bothering you? How's school going? Asking about their friends, just simply starting a conversation. I know a lot of the times that in starting these conversations, teens might not open up right away, and that's okay. And I think one of the things that parents will want to express in those conversations, that I'm here, you will be supported, you won't be judged, you won't be in trouble, but I'm here to support you when it's time that you want to talk to me. And again, if the conversation doesn't go the way they want it to the first time, come back to it. It's okay. Like you said, these are things that will be ongoing and will need to be ongoing to assure that teens feel supported, know that their parents are there, and really for the comfort as the parents as well, just knowing what's generally what's going on in your teen's life. And I think that's something to, understand anyway. So that's one of the good things there. Again, at our website, cdc.gov/freemind/parents, there's a lot of good information there to help start those conversations, even tips. I mentioned the card game. There's questions there to start the conversation. So that's one of the things that they can do to access there and just get those conversations going.
Awesome. Yeah, it doesn't take much. Even with my own children, one of the things that I've implemented is something called high and low, which is just a quick check-in. Like, what was your high of the day? What was your low? And one thing that I've learned over time is that when they've had a bad day, they get straight to the low. They're like, let me tell you what my low was. They just get straight to it because they want to get it off their chest. And I always thought that was a healthy way of developing them. And now I have a preteen, and it's the same, but it's not what it used to be when she was elementary school. So there are ways to have these conversations. You don't have to be a licensed professional. You can do it. You can engage. And I definitely want to recommend that you do go to cdc.gov/free your mind campaign /parent. Did I get that right?
/FreeMind.
FreeMind.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes,
FreeMind
that's okay.
/parent. There we go.
Yes.
We'll get it right.
Mhm.
And those links will definitely be in the description as well.
Perfect. Thank
All
you
right,
so much.
perfect. Awesome. Any final thoughts or anything from yourself, anything that you would like to share with our audience?
Yeah, I just want to again thank you, Brandon, for the time to discuss this here. And I think as you've reiterated a few times, one, substance use, the connection between that and mental health among teens. For parents, it's important to start having these conversations early. It's okay, be open, be non-judgmental. Like you say, you don't have to be a therapist. There's anything. Sometimes your child just wants you to talk to them, check on them. I love that highs and lows. That's a great way to try to understand what's going on with your child and really simply start the conversation. And that's the first step.
Awesome. Thank you, Jasmine, for taking some time out, being here with us today and sharing this information. We look forward to seeing how this campaign grows and what comes from it. We definitely will be sharing out the link as a resource as well. And yeah, appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, cd.gov/FreeMind. We are here. Please visit, get all the resources you can. Thanks so much, Brandon.
Perfect. Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, folks, that was Jasmine Kinney from the CDC and the Free Mind campaign. Thank you all for checking out the episode. Make sure you go to that website and get those resources. It's so helpful. They have a toolkit, even if you're not a parent. I heard Jasmine share that there is a roundtable discussion guide where you can have these conversations with young people that are around you. All these things are helpful. Definitely utilize them. They're there for your disposal. Don't feel like you don't have the tools, because the tools are right there, and we try to give them to you right here on the podcast all the time. All right. After you go to the CDC's website, there's 3 other places that you might want to go. The first place is Facebook. You can check us out on Facebook. You can put in It Is Not Your Fault podcast in the search bar, and you can find us right there on the Facebook page. You can like it, find great episodes like this and other quality information right there on Facebook. The second place, you can check me out on my personal website. If you have questions or you want to connect, you can check me out at www.jegna.org. That's jegna.org, where you can ask questions, whether about the podcast or other things, right there on that website. Then the third place, there's a lot of places for you to connect with, but this is one that you have to stop at. This is Shaletta Makes Me Laugh. If you like me, if you like my podcast, there's a good chance you're going to like a lot of the other people that we have on the network. That network is ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. Go ahead and check us out. All right, folks, that's going to do it for today's podcast. Again, we want to thank Jasmine for coming out. We want to thank the CDC for putting together this amazing campaign. And we want to keep you all informed as best as possible. And as always, be safe, be constructive, be well, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
To check out previous episodes of It's Not Your Fault, or to learn more about Brandon Jones, log on to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.
To keep my home running smooth, I count on Xfinity Internet. With 99.9% reliability, we're all online at once. No slowdowns. The Xfinity app lets me manage our Wi-Fi and keep things secure. Xfinity makes it easy.